Welcome back. Sorry we were having technical difficulties. I'm your host, Ethen Cummings, co-host Sam Collier, Big E guest with us today. Sam, go ahead, break down them top 5 teams for us, man.
All right, yeah, I'm just gonna rush through this real quick. You know, not much has changed with my top 5. A few teams have moved to different slots, but I've still got the same 5 teams that I had last week. Give me Shelby Valley at that 5 spot again. You know, they come into this week, they win that playoff game, 50 points on the board. It was expected. At number 4, I'm going to move Belfry down to number 4, you know, only because considering that they played that was it Clay County?
Clay County.
They played that Clay County team, and they put up 36 points on them. So I don't think that Belfry should have let them score that much. So I'm going to go ahead and put them at that 4 spot. Give me Raceland at number 3. You know, I mean, they're so good that the team just forfeited on them. I mean, let's be real right now. They didn't even get to do a playoff game last week, so put them at the 3 spot, you know. And they're a team that, again, like I said last week, could arguably be one of the best teams in the state coming at the end of this season. So give them to me at that 3 spot. Again, I've got Pikeville at my number 2. It's Pikeville Panthers. They're going to get the job done. Number 2, Pikeville, and then number 1 again is Ashland. You know. Probably the best team in the state. Give me Ashland at number 1.
Any thoughts before we move on this list?
Just like last week, Johnson Central has to move into that number 5 spot. You know, more competition has been played with Johnson Central this season. You know, you look, they've played the Belfry, they played the Corbin, they played the Pikeville teams. So I have to move Johnson at that 5 spot. Move up Raceland to number 2 for me. Drop Belfry to 3. Pikeville's right there in that 3 spot, and I like Ashland at the 1 spot.
Yeah, you know, man, I like the list personally. Valley, I can make the argument against Valley against Johnson because Valley had a rough start. You know, they lost to teams like Letcher and Perry, but like at the end of their season, they, like we've said before, they were putting up high numbers, like
very
50, like like 50, 60. They even had a 70-point win.
I mean,
you know, like it's so you can make that argument. I like the list, but I do like Johnson Central. I think Johnson Central should be in there somewhere. Moving on, we've got college hoops. You know, I thank God that Louisville football is good. Louisville football has been good, and you know, in the past, last year was just awful because our football was awful and our basketball was awful. So it was really L's down. It was heartbreaking. I watched 2 basketball games, and then I told myself this will be the first year I'll never watch them again, and I didn't watch them the rest of the season. Louisville loses their expedition game. You know, if you're a Louisville fan, are you worried?
I would be definitely worried. I mean, you bring in a new head coach and Kenny Payne, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for him to have come from Kentucky to Louisville, nobody would have expected.
Actually, he went Kentucky pro
then Louisville. Understandable, but we're just doing college to college. You know, he coached at Kentucky. He goes to pros for a year. He goes to Louisville. Yada yada. You would think that he would have brought this team into something better than what they are, and I think this is going to be another year for you, to where you watch 2 games again and don't want to watch them because they're just not it. You lose to Kentucky, Wesley, and Christian in an exhibition. I mean, I have no words for that. That is crazy. I mean,
you know what?
Let's take Jenkins High School and play Louisville and see how good of a game they do. That's the way I feel about it.
You know what?
Shout out to Coach.
Before Big E gets started and I get started, you all have lost and been terrible at football all year, and not one time have I sit and laughed over a loss. Now I may have bragged a little bit, but I have never just laughed. That's disrespectful. They're disrespecting me here on this show. Big E, go ahead before I get started.
You know, I wouldn't be worried because ain't Louisville used to this?
I think so. I mean,
you know, I think this is a year in, year out thing that we're coming into. You know, you lose Rick Pitino and you lose everything. You know, so
I can agree with that.
Until they show me something, you know, I wouldn't be too worried. I just expect the same old things from Louisville. Would you agree?
I agree.
Okay, that's, you know, I would not worry if I was you.
You know what? I am worried. I'm worried. And here's why. I think we made the wrong hire. Which, you know what? I really didn't like Kenny Payne to begin with. He's, it's his alma mater. But listen, the guy never head coached before. And for your first head coaching job to start at the University of Louisville, which has a tremendous good amount of basketball tradition. I mean, let's just be honest. Before Rick Pitino got fired, they had only had 2 coaches in the program's history. 2 coaches. I mean, Rick Pitino could take a bag of beans and make it to the NCAA tournament. Let's just be honest here.
Hey, Rick
Pitino is one of the probably is the greatest college basketball coach of all time. He's right up there with Coach K and all the great ones. He really is.
Let's talk about Bob Knight too. He just passed away recently. Bob Knight is the
sad.
Absolute best head coach
yes,
ever
most
in college
definitely.
Basketball. Let's not do that. Maybe top 10. I could give Rick Pitino top 10, not top 5. Though.
But here's the thing, man. It's like I am worried as a Louisville fan because, like Kenny Payne, I just don't think he's suited. He needs to go back to being an assistant. He was great at Kentucky, and I'm going to make this short so we can move on. He was great at Kentucky because Calipari can recruit and he can do the coaching. Well, recruiting comes along with coaching in college basketball.
What blows my
And
mind
his recruiting class was good, but apparently it wasn't good enough.
I mean, he got a top prospect in Sky Clark who was, I thought that he was going to go to Kentucky, and he ends up going to Louisville. And I mean, what is this?
Man, I don't know. Yes, if you're a Louisville fan, be worried. Hopefully we wisen up and fire Coach Payne. Moving on, we've got, can Kentucky have a better than decent season really quickly?
Listen, really quickly, yes. We are going to be a top team in the nation this year. We've got the potential to do what we've not been able to do since 2014 in the platoon system. I mean, this team, you got 10 players that could be starters, man. I think that this team is going to be phenomenal if John Calipari can get them where they need to be.
I think they're still going to be decent this year. I think new guys coming in, Calipari not a coach, he's a recruiter like you said. I don't see them being anything more than what they was last year.
Yeah, they're going to send guys. They're just going to send. They're going to be decent, and they're going to send guys to pro. That's a Calipari team. That's what they do. They send guys to pro. They're not going to win you championships. They're not going to go out and do this and that. They're going to send guys to pro. Moving on, one last question very quickly. James Harden. This is a pro talk. The one pro question we've had all show. James Harden was traded to the Clippers. What does this mean for LA?
Well, I actually want to shout you out. We talked about the in-season tournament, and you chose the Clippers to win that. I think that just, boosts your answer a little bit, adding James Harden to this team, only because he's already got the chemistry with Russell Westbrook. He's played on the All-Star teams with Paul George. He's been in the USA teams with them boys. I think that this team got better adding James Harden. So, I don't know, man. The sky's the limit for the Clippers. It's definitely going to be a battle for LA again.
I don't like the move. I think James Harden is somebody that you cannot depend on to be on the court when you need him to be. He doesn't put in the time in the gym. He's not, he wants to do his own thing instead of being a team player. And I would rather have a team player than a guy that can give me 30 points and not give up 40, 50.
Well, it goes back to those saying, I still stand by my decision with the Clippers winning. I think you're right. I think that helps, but they're not a postseason team.
No.
They're not. This made you slightly better. It really did, because there's only, like we said with the Suns last week, and this is the last thing I'm going to say before we go to break. There's only one ball, and you've got Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George on the same team, which I get. Russell Westbrook's not very, he's unselfish with the ball, and Kawhi can be, but who's going to be the face? And that's the problem they're going to run into, because Kawhi thinks he is.
Yep.
But whenever somebody outshines him, is he going to take to it that well? Is there going to be problems in the locker room? Depends on how Ty Lue handles them. It really does. And I will speak highly on Ty Lue real quick. He did really good when he had the Cavaliers and LeBron the year they won. He did really good. But with that being said, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we've got Pick'ems picking the next round of the playoffs. You're not going to want to miss this. Stay right with us for this last segment. We'll see you in a minute.
This is where it all started. Right here on this farm. We may have grown over the years, but we've never lost sight of what was important to us. We're continuing that tradition today, and we always will be for generations to come.
Don't let just anyone take care of your pharmaceutical needs. Call Jay's Pharmacy in Jenkins, Kentucky. Jay's Pharmacy has been a staple in the Jenkins community for many years, formerly known as Boggs Pharmacy. Jay's Pharmacy is in it for you. They'll make sure your trips to the pharmacy is easy and smooth. They'll fight the insurance companies for you and give you great prices on your medication. Call Jay's Pharmacy today in Jenkins, Kentucky. We look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome back. This is our last segment, the Pick'em segment. This is personally probably my favorite segment. I really
love
like
this
picking these
segment.
games. You know, even though I'm losing on the year, I still like picking these games. So I'm your host, Ethen Cummings, co-host Sam Collier, guest. I was going to say special, caught myself.
Special guest.
He is a
Big
special
E
guest.
with
Don't
us.
let him do that.
So, guys, we're going to run through these pretty quick. We're going to start with 1A first-round Kentucky football. Second-round Kentucky football. Williamson at Pikeville. Williamsburg at Pikeville. Who do you got? Real quick.
I think this is going to be a good game, but I'm taking the Pikeville Panthers.
Pikeville.
I'm taking Pikeville. It's Pikeville football, man.
Yeah.
Paintsville at Middlesboro. Who you got?
This is going to be a game that is going to be tight, but I'm going to have to go with Middlesboro on this game.
Give me Millsboro too.
Give me, you know what? I'm going to be the oddball, and I'm already losing my pickups, so might as well take a shot. Give me Paintsville, the Tigers. Let's go, Tigers. Let's go. Paintsville. Next, we've got Frankfurt, if they show up to play, at Raceland.
Give me Raceland.
Give me, I done said it last week, that they're going to be your 1A state championship, Raceland.
Give me That's a hot take.
He said
Give
it
me
last
Raceland. Give me Raceland. Man, the Panthers don't like you right now. Give me Raceland. Moving on, 2A, second round state football, Kentucky, Floyd Central at Shelby Valley. Who you got?
We got two high-scoring games from these two last week. Maybe we see that again this week. But I'm going to have to take Shelby Valley Wildcats over this team. I just don't see them competing on the level that they are.
I'm going to stick with what I said earlier. I don't think Valley's played enough competition. Floyd comes in with, something to play for. They want to beat them. Give me Floyd Central in this game.
I'm with you. Give me Floyd Central, too. I'm taking Floyd on this game. Moving on, we've got Betsy Lane at Martin County. Who you got?
Listen, Betsy Lane, they lost one game on the season so far. Martin County is a very physical team. I think this may be the end of the line for the Betsy Lane Bobcats. Is it the Bobcats?
It's the Bobcats.
Give me Martin County.
I'm going to go Betsy Lane.
I've got to agree with Sam. I'm taking Martin County. I think they're just too physical, man.
Yes.
Looking at it, you got Leslie County at Somerset. Who you got?
Give me Somerset.
I know the quarterback over at Leslie, Landry, good quarterback. He's got great skills. I'm going to take Leslie County here.
Okay.
Give me Leslie. Give me Somerset. I'm gonna take Somerset.
Okay.
Yeah, I was debating. I was going back and forth, guys. Taking Somerset. Next, last game in 2A, we've got Breathitt County versus at Beechwood. Who you got?
Give me Breathitt.
That is dumb. Beechwood's the best team in 2A. Give me Beechwood a blowout.
Give me Beechwood, but in a close game. Give me Beechwood in a close game. All right, moving on to 3A football. And, man, I really wanted this to be our last game we predicted because it's so close. Bell County at Belfry. Who do you got?
I think this is going to be the best game in this playoffs out of all of the games. Give me Belfry, though. I cannot go against Belfry. I just think that they're a more physical team. Their coach knows what they're doing, and Philip Haywood. Give me Belfry.
I've played both of these teams on the season. Bell County has an outstanding running back, Daniel Thomas, second in the nation in rushing. But they can't compete up front with Belfry. Belfry will be way more physical. They're going to hit them in the mouth. I look for this to be a 2-3 score touchdown.
Wow. Give me Belfry, too. I'm taking the Pirates. Next, we've got Lawrence County, who had a big win at Rockcastle County. Who you got?
I'm going to take Lawrence County on this one.
Give me Lawrence.
Give me Rockcastle County. Okay. I think they get the win here. Moving on to our last one, we got 4A Perry Central at Bull. Who you got?
I'm gonna take Bull in this game. I don't think that Perry is gonna be prepared for this Bull team.
Bull's the best team in the state, no doubt about it. Give me Bull.
Yeah, give me Bull too. Moving on, you've got Johnson Central at Boyd County. Who you got?
I think this is also going to be another game that's going to be really good, but give me Johnson Central. I mean, them Pikeville teams are just it.
You know, we don't hear much about Boyd, but I've watched some film on them, and they got an outstanding quarterback. Let me tell you, this kid, he runs hard, he can throw, he makes the right reads, but Johnson, they're going to destroy them up front just like they do every other team they play. Give me Johnson in this game.
Yeah, give me Johnson too. I'm taking Johnson. Last game, this will end the show. Ashland at Covington Catholic. Who do you got?
Give me Ashland.
Give me Ashland.
Give me Ashland. We're taking Ashland. We're going to end the show on that, guys. We appreciate you tuning in. And don't forget, next Sunday we've got another special show. Coach Casey Huff with the Knott County Patriots will be in the building. You won't want to miss it. I'm your host, Ethen Cummings, co-host Sam Collier, guest Big E. We'll see you next week.